delighted to speak to Darren Everest from the Overtones, who's got all kinds of pictures behind him there. You've just stocked those up, haven't you, before you came on?
I didn't know they were there, Rob. Wow. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. I think you're an absolute legend. I don't want to make you feel old, but I've watched you on TV growing up, and it's amazing to be chatting to you.
Do you know what? You just made me feel really old.
Oh, sorry about that.
Don't worry. We're talking about the Overtones. No, I'll tell you. Let's talk about the Overtones now. What's coming up with the Overtones? What's happening?
Well, we've hit 12 years now as a band, which is crazy. That makes me feel old talking about our ages. And to be honest, I'm just kind of so proud that we've kind of stuck around in such a fickle, hard industry that long. We tour the world. We do shows, and it's quite simple. We perform feel good music that makes people, dance and smile and sing and feel good. So yeah, we've got a winning formula that's not too complicated.
It never goes out of fashion, though, does it? That
exactly.
Songs that people like and dance to.
Exactly, like kind of feel good soul, Motown vibes, some doo wop, and yeah, we have a lot of fun. And I'm lucky enough to share the stage with some good friends, and we just have a laugh, and we get paid for it, so all good.
That is good. Do you enjoy it as much?
I do. I think I probably enjoy it now more than I used to be honest. I think you can get carried away in the early years of like, I want a top 5 album. I want to, be as big as possible. But I think you have to appreciate where you are and be present. And I think you learn that with experience. So we get so many emails and letters and DMs saying, oh, you helped me through a really hard period. And I wasn't very well. And, I've been down because I lost someone close to me, and your music cheers me up. And if you can have that effect on people, genuinely, I think that's a blessing. So that's something that I've appreciated more as the years have gone on.
We'll talk about football in a minute. Rather like asking a footballer, what was your favourite match or your favourite goal? Is there a standout evening for you, a standout memory with the Overtones?
Yeah, we've been lucky enough to perform all over the world at some amazing events and venues. But I think one that seems poignant right now is the Queen's Jubilee. We got to perform at the Palace on the Mall, and we were lucky enough to meet Prince William and the King, as we call him now, King Charles. We met him, and Stevie Wonder and Tom Hanks, and it was just a ridiculous kind of evening, after party in the Palace, and that's one that sticks in the memory for sure.
And rather like a footballer as well, at the moments, it's like on television, there are times when you're feeling fed up, there's times when you're feeling great. What about going into a performance? It really fascinates me with performers. Are there moments you think, "Oh, this is going to be great," and are there other times where you think, "God, that was a bit of a struggle"?
Of course, you get. Being in a band, we get booked for all kind of events. Obviously, when we're on tour and it's our fans, it's always an amazing atmosphere. But sometimes you get these corporate events where people might be chatting and eating their lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
You just have to look next to you and have fun with your bandmates and put on a good show. You always have to kind of look for a reason to smile, and it's not hard doing the job that we do.
Okay, you're West Ham mad, but you were a footballer, weren't you? I've got Leyton Orient and Southend written down. Go on, give us your history.
Yeah, and I was at Norwich for a bit. Yeah, it's all I wanted to do. Like a lot of young men and women, all I wanted to do was play football and be a professional footballer. Every day I'd come home from school, go straight to the park. Unfortunately, homework came secondary for me. But yeah, my dreams got cut short, as they did for a lot of us. I had an injury, couldn't play for a year, and then it's a blessing, I guess. I fell into music, and here we are today. But it's always been a passion of mine, always been a hobby of mine, and I've actually got two season tickets now, and one of them's for my baby daughter, who's only 1. So bless her. As soon as she's old enough, she's gonna come with me, whether she likes it or not.
What were you? What compare yourself playing wise to somebody? Well, where did you play? What position?
I was a winger or a fullback. I kind of felt at home as a fullback. I like to see the picture and the game in front of me. I had a good right foot, bit of a Beck's right foot on me. I love taking the corners and free kicks. So yeah, I kind of like to switch play and to overlap and to get some crosses in. Maybe Cafu. Should we go with Cafu? Let's go with Cafu.
Cafu would be good. I'm going to go Trent, but I guess you never played wing back though, did you? Were wing backs around not when you were?
It was winger or right back. Yeah, you're making me feel old now. Cheers.
Yeah. Because wing back, well, it's not, but it's sort of comparatively new. So we're going Cafu rather than Trent, yeah?
Cafu, I think. Yeah, let's settle with that one. Yeah.
Okay, you West Ham mad. Who's your all time? Who was your hero growing up?
Bit of a random one. Do you remember Ian Bishop? Played for West
Yeah, I
Ham.
do. I know Ian Bishop. Yeah, I've done a lot of interviews with Ian.
He was a player that stood out for me, like flair and technique, and again a great right foot on him. And he was one of them players, a bit like a kind of Jan Molby, who never looked like he was running, but always kind of had the game under control. And God, I've got some great memories from Upton Park going with my dad. I used to stand in the North Bank. I actually had this wooden stool that my granddad made for my dad, that my dad used to stand on as he was a little boy. And then my dad kept the stool, and then I used to go and stand on it when I was young in the North Bank. And just good atmosphere, like the smell of the burgers and the bovril, and being close to the pitch. And I just remember how the atmosphere was so amazing back then, and it literally meant everything. If we won or lost, it would just change my mood for days. Special times, special memories, and I'm looking forward to kind of building them memories with my children as I did with my dad.
And what about the change from Upton Park to the London Stadium? What's you feel? I mean, it was an amazing season last season, particularly, wasn't it?
It was. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because everything takes time, and Upton Park was such a special ground. It was a real football ground, as I like to say. And there's only few. There's not many of them now. There's only a few around. Like in order to grow from a business sense, you have to do what we've done, and I believe that we got a good deal, and it was important for the club to move forward in that way. Obviously, as fans, we miss Upton Park. It was an amazing stadium, and everyone, we built so many memories there and kind of grew up on them terraces. But in order to move forward as a club and a business, I think it made sense, and it is getting better at the London Stadium. I get down there when I can, and the first season was a bit tricky. It didn't feel right. Everyone was moaning that it's an athletic stadium. It's not a football stadium, but the club have listened and they've made some changes, and it's turning into what feels like West Ham Stadium now. As for last season, the last 2 seasons have been amazing. I never get carried away as a West Ham fan. Like our song says, like my dreams, they fade and die. So there's always the pessimist in me that kind of expects it to happen. We got so close in Europe last year, and it was amazing to see. And let's see if we can turn things around this season. But at the minute, I hate to say it, at the minute, early days, but it's relegation form. 5 losses, a draw and a win. It's not great. So let's hope that our big players turn up and we can turn it around.
I just think we're talking about old and what have you. The one thing I hope doesn't happen is everybody starts panicking, and poor David Moyes, who's done unbelievably well for the last couple of seasons. Already reading the press, Moyes is under pressure, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, give him a break, the poor fella.
I was listening to Jim White and Simon Jordan yesterday, and I love them guys, but they were kind of talking about it, and it's hard, isn't it? Because it's a business, and if you don't get results, some of these owners make changes quickly because they think it's the best thing to do rather than to give the manager time. I think we owe him this season after what he's done the last few years. And we've made a lot of signings, we wanted the club to spend money, and it was actually third in the table of the biggest spenders this year. I think we spent like 163 million, something like that, behind Manchester United, and I think it was Chelsea. So we have to give these signings time to bed in. Scamacca looks great in the European Conference games, but we need to give him a run in the league games. Obviously, Paqueta is a talent who will shine, but I just think we need to give these players time to bed in, and fingers crossed, it will all come right.
Okay, what have you got? When do are you touring? What's coming up? Where are you? What are you doing?
We toured this summer. We'll be announcing some dates for next year again. We go to Mexico at the end of the month. We go to Indonesia just before Christmas, and we're doing some shows around the country before then. But then next year we'll be releasing new music and having a headline tour, hopefully next Christmas.
Come on then. I'm forever
blowing
bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. Have you got them to sing that on stage, the lads?
No, I'd actually like to get us down to the London Stadium to perform it. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So
do you know what? That is a shout, by the way. You heard it here first. That is a great shout.
Yeah, actually, we've just recorded a version of Sweet Caroline as well, which is kind of like it's turned into a sports anthem, isn't it? So
yeah,
we're hoping to get down to some football matches and get the crowd going before some games. So, let's see what happens.
Bubbles would be brilliant, though, wouldn't it, down there?
It would, wouldn't it? It would be amazing. Let's do it. Let's arrange it.
You heard it here first. Hey, listen, Darren, lovely talking to you. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, man, thank you for having me.
Take care.
You too, mate.